What's going on, fellow travelers? I just wanted to review this quick video of JerryRigEverything. He visited the Ford plant where they're making the F-150 Lightning, and one thing I like about this plant is it's near and dear to me because this is reassuring because I'm actually on order for this vehicle and I can't wait to get it. Just seeing how everything's automated and how they've made things so precise is reassuring. I used to be on the list for the Tesla, but I went and canceled that just because I don't want to be the guinea pig for the first gen. I feel like electric vehicles, in particular the electric trucks, they got a long way to go. And I just using it for a daily. I don't plan on hauling a bunch of stuff because obviously I can't. I know the range is not going to be as advertised, but just upgrading from my Nissan Leaf that I've had for 3 years, and I'm just ready to be a people mover and urban commuter. But watching this video, and we can just look through it, I just wanted to highlight some cool things that I noticed that are reassuring from a production standpoint. And I do have a background in supply chain, so this is all very interesting to me. So it's true, Henry Ford is the inventor of the assembly line. That is probably the biggest modern invention that he created, outside of just, you know, popularizing the car for the home. In actuality, the person that invented one of the first cars was somebody named Carl Benz. Does that sound familiar? Aside from the truck itself, this is probably one of the cooler things in regards to car production. These are robots that move across the floor with a magnet that guides it. So very simple. You don't need no fancy, you know, cameras or AI for it to know how to go from point A to point B. It has a track that it can follow. If it deviates from the track, it'll stop and somebody has to come reset it. It's meant to hold large weight, so you know you're not getting any people injured. And the cool thing is these things charge in the floor, so when it goes to a point where it has to stop and hold something up for a long period of time, it has a specific spot that it stops where it charges simultaneously while work is being done, like lifting up the chassis to the truck. You'll see it later in the video. It's charging while it's holding up the chassis.
A lot throughout the facility.
So one of the cool things about why I wanted to get an electric car or electric truck at this state of the technology is because they're starting to not just think, you know, put an electric motor into a gas, you know, frame or chassis or whatever, you know, just replace parts with electric versions. They're starting to understand that with the space you save from not having to have, you know, a drivetrain going up and down the middle and all these different gas lines that have to be held, a gas tank, and it's just, you're just making a frame, literally just a box. You cut out the holes you need to go to different parts, and they can just assemble things kind of like you know, in different big Lego pieces. Like parts A and B make C, and then parts D and E make F, and then you put C and F together, right? So you just combining steps into one, two easier steps into larger steps, and then you let the robots assist. And the cool part I like is just look at how, I mean, this is a polished video, but just look at how people are just seamlessly installing things. I'm pretty sure Tesla is at that point now with their Model 3s and Ys, but they haven't even really broke ground on their Cybertrucks in Texas yet. So I don't think we're going to get to this stage for at least another couple years for Tesla. And when they do, you know, if they take off, great. And by then I'll just consider, you know, perhaps trading in if it's that revolutionary. Surprisingly, with my Nissan Leaf, even though it's a Nissan Leaf, you know, it went from the old bubble cars to now the kind of refreshed models to with a longer range. It's held its value pretty well, surprisingly. Not as well as Tesla's hold their value the best out of all the electric cars, I think, due to brand and just software and just style. But I think for my car, before tax breaks, it was like 28, and then with tax breaks they got me down to 23, like the $7,500 off or so, and then of course taxes and fees. They are still selling my car at 2019 used, of course. You would still have to pay about $23,000 for it before negotiations. So I could say I maybe be able to trade it in for 18 or 19, you know, just to do a quick transaction. and I've had it for 3 years, you know, no issues outside of changing tires. I had one time the radio, the knob to turn up the volume, I had to replace the whole radio for that, but it was under warranty, so they can actually have a radio that can replace the dash. I'd probably say the biggest issue with my car isn't anything to do with the driving experience. It's the backup camera. I need to replace the backup camera because it's kind of gotten loose, so the connection is loose. But aside from that, that's my Nissan Leaf. Looking at how Ford is assembling and putting these things together, I am very hopeful and optimistic that this is going to be a good purchase.
Loading the frame onto the AGV all by himself, that's pretty impressive.
That's one of the electric motors. Suspension. Those are the brakes. Control arm.
Normally you would assume that the pre-bent metal conduit lines are for gasoline or fuel lines, but this time around is for coolant, to provide cooling for both the front and rear motors as well as the battery pack. Since batteries are like humans and like to operate in the same temperatures that humans do. Here we have the battery pack. At 6, flip it over and mount it at 10 minutes. The sound you hear behind me is the liquid-cooled charger. With that much power flowing through these chargers all day, every day, the cables are liquid-cooled.
So one thing I want to say about those chargers. So right now, those chargers they have in the factory, they can charge all the way up to 80%, 0 to 80% in about, I think 15-30 minutes, because it's like a 480 or 450 or 480 volt. I don't know how many amps it's pushing, but basically it's like what they call level 4. Like you can get level 1 and level 2 at home. Level 1 is just your standard 120 volt outlet. Level 2 goes up to your 240 volt outlet, which is about, I think it's only like I want to say it's only like 6 amps. So it's really not that fast. It takes 8 hours for me to charge my Leaf from 0 all the way to 100 overnight. So I can do that overnight. So that's 1 and level 2. That's the only thing you can have a residential. Anything higher, that you can't have that. You have to have a commercial license. So the level 3 chargers are where your Tesla superchargers and such. So in this factory, they have a level 4. So definitely you can't have this in the house. But the cool thing is, so the Ford truck can actually accept that level of current, but it's software locked to whereas they're only allowing to do, I think, only 150 volts at this time, but technically it can do up to 300 volts. It looks like 480 volts comfortably, within a controlled setting, of course. So I'm very hopeful that the infrastructure bill that the government passed is going to install these superchargers at least up to 150 volts all across the United States. So maybe I can take this on a road trip, but for now I'm just keeping it inner city. And I really like that, every Ford, before they deliver it to me, a future customer, they're going to take it on a road trip, a road test, and make sure that it's still built Ford tough. The Ford Lightning also, for its price point, is actually faster than the Ford Raptor in regards to 0 to 60. So should be a fun car. Hopefully when I get it, you guys are interested, and maybe I'll do a little a future blog from inside the car as I drive it around and enjoy it. It's going to be a family mover, seats 5, so one of my kids is going to have to take turns to ride in there with me, but can't wait to get it. And I will be getting it in red. So anyways, just wanted to share my thoughts on why I'm getting a Ford F-150 versus the Tesla Cybertruck, but I don't care. It's personal preference, I'm looking forward to the Chevy Silverado EV. The Hummer EV is out there too, but that's like $100,000. And then you also got the Sierra, the GMC Sierra EV that's kind of the Denali. Oh, that thing looks great. I'm pretty sure there'll be more rolling out eventually in the future from Toyota, Honda. Ram has already announced that they're working on their development. Trying to see what other trucks are coming. Of course, you got your Rivian, you got your who's the other person that might be coming out with a truck? I don't know, but I know Rivian has theirs out now. But my reason for not getting a Rivian is I personally don't know if they're gonna survive. They're just burning through too much cash. But those are my thoughts. What do you guys think? What would you need an EV to do to replace your daily needs, replace your daily driver? And have you ever driven in one as well? And what are your thoughts? Let me know.